That brings me, you say first appointment for a new agent. Do you guys remember your guys' first appointment? Because I know I do. Do you guys remember your
Yeah, I
guys' first
remember.
I
appointment?
remember.
So I show up, my heart's beating, knock on the door, and it's a lady, and I'm like, hey, I'm here for Richard, and she's like, oh, he's still at work, and I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, no, come on in. And so she just let me in, and we started talking and telling her what I was there for. And I answered, fill out our financial inventory sheet, and all she could qualify for at the time was a guaranteed issue product. And so, as we're going through the application, the husband comes home, and usually in those situations, now looking back at it, like the husband's all mad or like, "What the hell are you doing here?" But he was like, "Oh, hey, buddy, I brought us lunch," and he had barbecue that he had brought home for his wife. Kind of forgetting me. He bust out 3 plates, and we all started eating barbecue. And then I help him, and then I write him a husband-wife accidental, and I was just like, man, like that's just a sign from the man upstairs. Like this is exactly what I should be doing because that like never happens.
Right.
We ate lunch together, sold him 3 policies, and
He had an extra plate for you.
and he was and he told me that he'd never been able to get approved for immediate coverage. And so that's when it really was like, okay, like I can make an impact on these people's lives, and they made a huge impact on my life with it being my first appointment booked, first family sat, and first family helped. And so I'll just never forget that. You guys remember yours?
I mean, I'm old.
Yeah.
So my memory's gone.
You got them sometimers.
Yeah, for
We got them
sure.
sometimes.
But I think, I think the appointment I remember, and I don't know if it was my first one, but the first one it's like the one farthest back that I remember. I didn't sell it, but I remember it because what ended up happening was it was 2 people fighting with each other about getting the coverage from me. And I kind of just sat there for like, I don't know, I must have sat there what felt like 10 minutes, could have only been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, and they were like, I remember the beginning of it, I walked in and I hit them with like, so tell me why you're looking for this coverage. And she launched into this whole speech about how one of her friends had her husband pass away and they didn't have anything and she lost the house. Now she's living with their kids in Iowa or something, like, right? And how she didn't want that to be her because they just built this house, their family's nearby, she'll want to live in an apartment if something happens to him. And he looks at her and he goes, yeah, or he looks at me and he goes, yeah, I want to protect her. Go through the whole thing, show them, at that time I was showing people 3 different options versus now I kind of limit it to 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, I don't need it. She kind of turns and looks at him like, the hell we don't. And like I just sat there kind of like twiddling my thumbs as they fought with each other. And finally, again, this is probably my first month. And finally I was just like, started grabbing my stuff off the table, putting it in my bag, and I was just like, hey, you guys, like clearly this isn't happening tonight. Like I got a long drive home. Like if you guys figure this out, and I don't know why I said this, but I go, if you guys figure this out or you're still married tomorrow, give me a call.
Oh no.
Right? And we'll get you figured out. And he did not like that at all.
Nope.
And
Nope. I don't like it.
yeah, and so I left, and as I'm walking out the door, she kind of whispers to me. She goes, "I'll call you tomorrow." And I was like, "All right." So
That's happened to me a couple of times. What I always do is I say, all right, guys, let's do a vote. Who thinks we should get it? And I raise my hand, and then the other person raises their hand, and then who doesn't?
Yeah.
I don't think we should get it.
Yeah, 2 to 1.
2 against 1.
Numbers win.
Yeah. Do you remember your first appointment?
First one. Oh man, I actually booked a lot of appointments, and it was actually my first set too. Prosperity Day. I remember the guy. He was on a lot of things. Let's just say that. But not gated community, but like those kind of
Has a gate. Yeah.
type
Yeah.
house, very small house. I think he had other people living there, and he had a nurse come by in person. So I came by with the nurse. I parked, and then the nurse was right behind me.
You were like, yeah, I'm just the nurse's assistant.
Yeah, that's just no. Luckily, I didn't wear a white coat.
You're
but-
like, she's here for your physical, I'm here for the application.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you remember yours?
I do. It was actually, you booked it. And I wasn't even ready to go out in the field yet. I had, like, didn't even have my iPad or anything set up, and Gage was like, hey, I can't make this appointment, go. I was like, all right, here I go. And the lady was just super nice, like, the best appointment. I had to, like, get my Americo set up, like, login set up, registered while I was
Like
sitting
while
with
you're
her.
sitting there.
Yeah. And I remember she was like calling her friends, telling them all, I'm getting this life insurance, I'm getting this taken care of, I'm so responsible, I don't know about you. Are you responsible? And I was like, give me all their numbers. Let me get
Yeah,
them.
right.
But it was like the most, like, the nicest lady, the most, like, simple appointment. But I'll never forget my second one, because the guy, I walk in, he's like, oh, come on in. Going through the appointment, and all of a sudden he just, out of nowhere, looks at me and he goes, what are you doing here? I was like, what? I'm like, we've been going over your life insurance. He goes, huh? And I was like, oh no. I was like, let me see the meds.
Yeah, right.
Dementia.
Yeah,
I felt so
perfect.
bad, but it was just like, so like, I was like, what?
To
Like,
experience that.
yeah.
Firsthand.
That's hard.
Yeah, he was like, what are you doing here?
Yep. No, I got a similar story, not like one of my first appointments, but I sit here with a guy for an hour and a half, you know, chopping it up with him, having a good conversation. We put a policy in place, and like 2 hours later, a lady's calling me like, damn it, he did it again. He had another insurance agent over, he signed up, you need to cancel it.
Yep.
He signed up for like 3 policies now.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he loves you, clearly.
That's what I was thinking about.
He wants to leave you.
I know, same thing. I called the daughter because I was like, oh, well, do we have someone we can call to make sure you need this? I called the daughter. She's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he has 5 policies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. The worst part about it too is like his wife was like 30 years younger than him,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just one of those awkward things where I'm like, are you controlling this whole entire conversation,
right.
like this whole situation here? Like he's literally trying to leave you more money. Like, do we have to cancel the policy?
I'm like, so you were making me think. You talked about the guy that brought you barbecue. We've all been in appointments where you end up eating with them. I'm like,
Pig feet.
yeah. I'm like, I the best that I got a. They were doing like sausage and peppers, so I got like a full meal.
Love it.
Which
I
was
got some
the best.
homemade tamales. They were really good. Did I pronounce
What's
it
the
right?
best food that you've gotten from a?
It was like during a Cowboys game. It was very cold at night. She made some nice chicken noodle soup.
Mm.
That homemade.
Mexican moms never miss, bro.
No,
Never.
no.
I had a lady. She was cooking.
Sounds good.
She was cooking. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Or she was making it while I was there, but it wasn't ready to be served.
Mhm.
And before I left, she's like, "Here." She gave me like a Tupperware of whatever they were gonna
To
have
go?
for dinner to take home. She's like, "Feed your wife."
Oh, that's
So
sweet.
tell her sorry we kept you out so late. I'm like, yeah, it's all on you guys. It's not me trying to work. I'll blame you guys.
What's the coolest thing that you ever got or received from a client?
I mean, for me, I got a hydro flask. Say a hydro flask. I was
Okay.
like, she right out the box.
Step up your hydration
Yes,
real
she
quick.
is real quick. She's like, here, I got something for you. And it was actually it's always the first ones. They're always the nicest.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, yeah, I got an extra one, hun. You've been sweet. You've been great. She's like, here, take this. And I'm like, cool, what is it? And she's like, here, I'll open it for you. It was a hydro flask. I was like, these things are expensive. She's like, I got it.
Yeah, they
Buy
are.
one, get one free. I said, say no more.
Love it, dude.
I think
Thought that was pretty cool.
it wasn't necessarily like a gift that I was given as much as I got a guy had me bring my daughter back. At one point, he had this old car. He took her for a ride in like his old Model
Nice.
T-esque. I mean, I don't know if it was a Model T, but like one of those old,
Yeah.
Ford probably was like involved in physically building it himself kind of
Right.
car. She thought that was awesome. So
Mine was like, I got a little charm. Like, she said it was like a good luck charm. And she said she gave it to all of her grandkids. So when they're driving around, like she said, you put it in your car. And so it like helps,
keep you safe.
yeah, keep you safe. And I was like, that's so sweet. So I have it in my car. And
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, I had a Hispanic gentleman give me some pesos, like
For
this,
the Mexican.
yeah, this like blue dollar bill, and I'd never been to Mexico or ever had the currency, so I thought it was just like kind of like the coolest thing. I still have it at the house.
I know, I was like, because I went to Cancun, I was like, I forgot the pesos.
I mean, I love the story. I mean, you hear some other people have some crazy stuff that they're
Yeah.
given. I mean, like Rob got a dog.
Yeah. So
I mean,
Yeah.
They just gave him a dog. I've heard of some other people that like met their significant others through an appointment,
Mm.
where it was like, you know, they're meeting with somebody's parents, and the son or daughter was there, and it hit off from, you know, hit off from
I've
a
definitely
couple
had some
minutes,
people
and-
like, "Are you single?"
Yeah.
My daughter's single and looking. I'm
Yep.
like, no.
They like shows the ring, baby. You see this?
I literally have a fake engagement ring that I would wear sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Just so I wouldn't get it. So I wouldn't get that.
And I feel like that's probably a female,
Yeah,
a
'cause you
female
get, yeah.
move, I'm sure.
Yeah.